Okay, we walked all the way down the road and we're gonna go down the path to the well as soon as I grab Bella. Come on, Bella, sit. Come here. We gotta go this way. Okay. Come on, follow me. Let's go. All right, so this is what all we cleared. And it's pretty wide. It's wide enough at least for one full-size car. So you can see there's like a hillside. We went up to the edge of the hill and over. We did all this. Actually, just in a few hours. I was shocked. We managed to clear all this. There was 5 of us total, and we had to chop down, bananas and everything else along the way because we just had to get this road cleared out. We got about 1,000 banana trees, so didn't much matter. But I just want to take you for a little walk down the path here to show you actually how much we did clear. There was trees along the way. You can see we chopped them off, and chainsaw, machetes, dragging stuff out the side of the road. And it's not a super steep incline. There's another big tree we chopped down. But it's a pretty gradual descent downwards. It gets a little steeper up ahead. Here's a little bit of a problem area I can see. You can see right here at one point some of the hillside came down and kind of came onto the path. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. We might have to do something there. And then still heading down. This part of the road path right through here actually goes back uphill about 30 yards. So I'm thinking I might want to clear that out too. That could be like a parking spot or something. So we got folks coming next weekend again. Might even be more of us this time. 5 or 6 people. Of course, yes, I'm working and I'm paying people, so but I pay everybody a decent wage. Unlike a lot of places around here don't pay crap. I pay really good money, so I don't have any problems finding people, and I don't have any problems with retaining people. One of the things that I've learned over the years is that when it comes to work, there's certain ways you don't treat employees. And, I've taken a lot of that to heart and decided to implement some of the things I've learned over the last 25, 30 years. Right here is where it gets a little steeper, as you can see. And here's another problem area we've got. When I was in here with a machete clearing, I got to this part, and obviously this was all full. And I was going down this left side here. And as I was going down, I took a step back to clear some brush. And right about here, there's a hole that's about 3 feet deep. I mean, it just drops straight down. So my leg went into that hole. And I went up to about mid-thigh. So yeah, it was pretty deep. And so the water has been coming down this hillside, and for whatever reason, it's just dropping in right here. And there's another spot a little further up where it's dropping in. So we might have to do something here to redirect water flow kind of away from this. Right here is where the bank kind of starts getting eaten a little bit, and then it goes down. There's a bit of a rut there. So when we had the four-wheel drive down here. We didn't take it down this far because I advised I believe it pronounced his name Lario. He's a neighbor of ours, really good guy. He's actually our foreman, so I let him kind of run the cruise. And he, he had his 4x4 down here, and I told him, look, man, don't bring it down any further. And then I showed him where the holes were. He's like, oh crap, So he could have lost a tire big time in there. There's another tree I'd like to see chopped down because it's kind of in the road, but maybe we left it because of the dirt issue right there. There's a little bit of a hump here where some of the mud is building back up. Again, this kind of, at this point, it kind of goes back flat a little bit. So we chopped these trees down, maybe another area where you could park. Up ahead, we took down a big palm. You can see the top of it. It's actually a kind of a nuisance palm here. It's not a coconut palm or anything useful. So we took it out. There's a stump from that. It was a pretty sizable tree. But we chopped it up and it's over there now. And this kind of goes back into a path more or less. So this part of it is still fairly thick. We did come through and just kind of machete some of this, but it's pretty flat. This is what goes back to the natural spring. So as you can see, there's some logs and stuff from old dead trees that have yet to be cleared off the path. Like I said, none of this was chainsawed, so this was all machete. And that's why it's not quite as clear as back there, but this path does narrow significantly. So right about here, it turns into more or less a walking path. But up ahead, you can see where we're working with existing structure that was here that I had to find. The farmer that owned this before us told me that there was a well here, but he never showed me where it was. So he just kind of pointed me in a general direction. And I had to go on a bit of an adventure. And what that meant was there's a pipe up at the house that's supposedly connected all the way down here. Now this is a long way, okay? But I had to follow the pipe through the jungle, and it's buried and it's, exposed and it's buried and you can't find it. So I took a couple hours of actually working my way through the property, down the hillside, trying to follow this pipe. And I finally found this cistern here. Okay. Now this building here, even though it looks like it's totally trashed, the concrete is still good. Okay. The rooftop that was on it is garbage, and it's obviously needs a lot of work, but it's something to work with. And what this is the pump house. So there's an electric box, although not usable, and there's a pipe. So the idea here is to catch water from the natural spring, which is up this hillside, feed it into the cistern, and then have the water come down the hill to the pump. Pump has electricity right here. Pump pumps the water all the way back up to the house. And yeah, sounds crazy. It is crazy. It's a lot of work, but securing water here is really important for hurricane season and stuff like that, because if there's no power, then you're not going to have water. There's pumping stations, literally hundreds of them all over the island, and they're on top of hills, and they're all run by pumps, and obviously they got to have electricity. So if you have an electricity problem, then you got a problem. But you can hear the water running right now. We got really good flow, it looks like. Now, he just ragtagged this together yesterday. Again, the guy that I got is a foreman, Lario. And as you can see, That's the kind of flow we're getting. It's pretty good. But it appears that the cistern is not holding water. This is one of the tests that we wanted to do. I would guess gallons-wise, it's probably 200, 250 gallons maybe to fill this. But it's only maintaining about 2 inches of water. So the water's getting out somehow. We don't know how. This is the first time any of us has been back here since yesterday. And so we're gonna have to figure out how to secure this better so it holds water. One of the ideas, well, actually I've had a couple different ideas, but one of the ideas would be to line this somehow, either with some kind of roll-on liner or something, and then it would hold water. Another idea that I had yesterday would be, as you can see, the hole in this is concrete, and there's just this one area for a lid. My idea would be to chisel out this lid, okay, and then actually buy a plastic water container, those big plastic water containers that they sell here on the island, and feed the water into that. So to me, that would be a better idea because the water would stay cleaner. You have a lid on it. You can clean the tank out easier and still use the concrete structure that's here just to hold the tank, to keep it safe from anything that might fall on it, like trees. Obviously, this tree is going to have to get cut down. But yeah, so I think that might be the route we end up going. Haven't talked to everybody else about that yet. That was just my thoughts, my personal thoughts. Well, I did mention it to my wife yesterday, and she thought that was probably a pretty good idea. So maybe we'll go with that. And the purchase price of a tank is not that bad. So we want to make sure that the water is clean. As you can see, this water, well, my hand is dirty, but this water is crystal clear. Tastes great, ice cold. I've drank it several times now. And water's great. Yeah, I know the pipe is ratty and dirty and everything else, but the water is crystal clear. So, I mean, I don't see any debris in it whatsoever. Of course, we'll have it tested. But like I said, I've drank it a few times already. One of the things you got to be careful with is that you're not drinking runoff water versus spring water. So there's a big difference between the two. Runoff water is that water that just hits the ground, runs off, comes down the hillside, and it picks up all kinds of contaminants on the way. Dirt, trash, whatever it might be, animal matter. We won't get into that, but yeah, you don't want to drink that because that's going to be extremely dirty. It hasn't been filtered at all. It's not good for you. It can cause a lot of problems with your gut. This, on the other hand, is not that. This is spring water, and it actually comes out. Oh, I just kicked the pipe. Oops. This actually comes out of the ground. Let's see if we can get some video of that a little bit. So it's a little further up here. Again, this is a ragtag situation right now. As you can see, we got a leak in the pipe because he just taped some pieces together. This is just to flush things out and whatnot. Here's the hillside where he was working yesterday. As you can see, some water still getting by. But it's right into the hillside. It's plugged in as you would be. Yeah, so it comes out of the rock. And it comes out right there. I'm not going to be able to get a good video of it, but with this situation coming down a hill bank like this, you have to be cautious that it's not runoff water. And we verified that this is not runoff water. So hopefully I can jump across here. Oh, look at this coffee right here. Coffee growing everywhere. Coffee grows like weeds here. This ground is so fertile, anything you plant just grows. Let's see if I can jump across the other side here without killing myself. I don't know if or losing a shoe because it's super muddy. Okay, yeah, see, he dug back into the bank and there's rocks there. So indeed, the water is coming, out of the rock work, out of the ground. It's not running down the hillside. There's a couple different places where it comes out on this slope. There's one there, which is the best one. There's one back here, which is not as good. And then there's another one, if you look right here. And we worked to kind of open this back up. But it's right there is the best one. And it's when you dig back underneath the mud, that's just rock. So it's coming out of the rock. So let's head back up, get out of here. Again, this is a pretty steep angle, you can see. I don't know if you really can appreciate it, but we're in a jungle here. There's vines, everything. There's all kinds of wild roots that we found yesterday, which are actually really good to eat. We did eat some. They were fantastic. I'm trying to remember what they're called right now, and off the top of my head, I can't remember. They're much like a potato. They taste like a potato. They're really good. And we've got a lot of it. So, Bella, come on. So yeah, there's a bunch of it right down there. We kind of pulled some up the other day. I'm going to take the high road this time. So we'll have to do a time test on this. Time test will tell us how many gallons per minute we're getting, or roughly. If I had to guess, I'm going to say that's a gallon a minute or better. That's a real rough guess. I'm going to guess a gallon a minute or better. And if you think about that, that is a lot of water. Okay, so a gallon per minute times 60 minutes, 60 gallons per hour times 24 hours. Well, 60 times 10 is 600. Times 2 is 1,200. And then you got a little more than that, so you're looking 1,400 gallons per day. Now, most folks don't use that much water in a day, okay? So the amount of water that we're going to have available to us if we capture, most of it in a container or whatever, like I was talking about, it's going to supply us with plenty of water, and we're going to have leftover for overflow, because obviously it never stops, so you're never going to fill the tank and hold it. That's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to keep the water moving all the time. So but yeah, we're headed back up the hill now. Took our little path. We got more clearing to do. We got to get some more of the stuff off the floor here. Some of these stumps and that we need to trim a little lower. But this is kind of where we ended. All that was cut. We started Saturday at probably 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And we got all the way down here around 11. So, you're looking for 4 or 5 hours, It's just pretty daggone good if you think about it, considering how dense this was. Some areas were denser than others. Obviously down there in this area it was very, very dense. A lot of trees, a lot of vines. And we were trying to open up things, so that way it wasn't like going down a tunnel. That was one of the things I requested, is I didn't want a bunch of stuff overhanging, because that just gives you a pathway for vines to go across. And then stuff starts getting choked out again. So, but this is, today's Monday. We did this Saturday. So yeah, you can see a lot of the foliage that we cut is starting to die, turn brown, whatnot. A lot of big ferns. We try to save some of those. Got a better view. as we go back up the hill. And little lizards running around all over. Haven't seen any big ones yet, but I have a feeling there's one around here. I thought I saw one, a big iguana the other day. I mean a big one, you know, 4-footer. So yeah, that path needs to get cut back. Again, we're going back uphill. And back to the top we go, Bella. All right. Gotta fix that. Very dense in this upper portion. Right here, this is pretty dense right here. And actually this top portion was the most dense, which I'm glad it was at the beginning of our day, where it was the coolest. I think right now it's about 11 in the morning and it's 89 degrees already. Humid. Lizards running around. I'm keeping an eyeball out for snakes. We've only seen one so far. There's no indigenous poisonous snakes to Puerto Rico. I mean, none that are like super poisonous or anything. So even if you do come across one, more than likely if you don't mess with it, it ain't gonna mess with you. Seeing spiders, you know, some pretty nasty ones. No, I haven't seen any banana spiders, but I have seen black widows and I have seen brown recluse. So you have to be cognizant of those. Watch what you're doing. This section here was very dense, right up here towards the top. So this took a while. Had a lot of vines, but we got through it. You know, we opened it up quite a bit. This tree right here, the one with the crazy roots, is actually considered a garbage tree. It's a pretty big one. We didn't chop it down. The only reason why we didn't is because you can see this hillside is being held in pretty good by this tree. So if I chop it down, then I'm gonna take a chance of losing all that dirt washing out of on our road here. So instead of doing that, you know, we'll just leave that tree alone. Same thing with this one. Again, it's one of those kind of nasty trees. Yeah, we decided to leave it, but we got to get a gate. I'm gonna probably build one out of steel. I got to get some tools for that. I don't have a welder here, and I need supplies, but I can make it. So I'm gonna probably make a gate. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go with a single or a double. Probably a double because of the width. I think a 16-foot gate would probably work here. You know, put in a steel piling there, steel piling over here, and have the gate swing inward.